All right, what's up, everyone? Happy Monday. We are here live with the Franchise Empire weekly newsletter. What's up, Kevin?
What's going on?
Nothing much. By the way, I think there's like a 30-second delay on our end.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Yeah. I see a little bit delay.
Okay. All right. All good. All right, well, we're gonna dive right in. Thanks for your patience. We're a few minutes behind today, coming from another meeting, but we're gonna rock and roll and talk about, well, at least we're gonna talk about a bunch of things. But today we're gonna talk about a service franchise showing an owner doing $11 million in sales, which is pretty awesome. We're gonna talk about a affordable resale with a really strong franchise brand. We're going to talk about franchise buyers who acquired a resale with strong cash flow, and then how you can go from employee to entrepreneur quickly and safely for those of you who that is applicable. So we'll just jump right in. Kevin, tell us about this resale.
Yeah. So this is a CertaPro painters resale. We've talked about CertaPro before, but it is a painting franchise. So they've been around for a while, since 1992. They have over 500 franchise units throughout the North America. So they're pretty massive. They do both residential and commercial painting services, and then they do both interior and exterior. So there's other like additional services you can add on as you grow your business. But what's appealing about CertaPro for a lot of clients we work with is that they do use a subcontractor model. So it keeps your payroll lower. So, really you're serving as almost like a general contractor that's going to meet with clients, understand their budget and their project, and then, manage that project with the subcontractors until completed. So CertaPro is a great business. This particular resale is in South Miami, Florida. And so it was started in 2016. The asking price for this is $195,000. Last 12 months of revenue was 1.1 million. So, and then they have a cash flow of 213,000. So it's doing pretty well. I'm a little surprised by the asking price. It seems fairly competitive. But as in any resale, as you dive in and sign an NDA and understand the financials a little bit clearer, it might paint a different picture. But this seems like a pretty good opportunity in a big market. I believe it's 2 territories included in this resale. So if you're somebody that wants to dive into a business that's been operating for almost 8 years now in the home services space, low payroll, low overhead, something you can run out of your business or out of your home, this could be a really good fit. So they do have a strong item 19. They show that average gross sales for units that have been open for 3+ years is 2.22 million in sales. So, as you can see here, this one's been obviously open for longer than 3 years, and it's doing about half of the average. So opportunity to grow there for sure. And like we said, they're one of the stronger home services franchises in the industry. They have a very robust training program. And then they have a pretty high retention rate amongst their owners, so over 90%. And then I thought this is interesting. They break it down in their item 19 in the FTD, but they talk about 60% is system-wide sales are for residential and 40% is commercial, which is actually a pretty healthy balance. I would have expected it to be higher on the residential side, but the more I've helped people buy CertaPro, the more I learned that as you grow, you typically have like one salesperson dedicated for commercial and one dedicated for residential. And then you can continue to grow those teams as you scale. So pretty good opportunity with that much commercial work. There's just a ton of applications, if you think about all the different potential customers. So I think this is largely about your ability and willingness to invest in marketing and sales to grow the business. So I'll pause there. What are any additional thoughts, Tarek, you would add there?
Yeah, this is an interesting opportunity. Well, first, I forgot to mention at the beginning, if you guys are new to watching or you're not on our list to get these newsletters weekly, go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter. We'll send it to you every Sunday morning, and you'll get this email. Um, well, number one, for those if for those of you that watch our newsletters, we've talked about CertaPro before, and that we've had a number of clients buy them, um, and so I guess I'm a little bit biased, just knowing how strong of a brand they are overall. Um, but yeah, this is an interesting opportunity. I mean, same thing you say, Kevin, which is like I'm surprised at the asking price only $195,000. So that means there's probably like either it's drastically underpriced or there might be a skeleton in the closet there somewhere. But we teach our clients how to do due diligence on resales, where we pretty much hand hold you through that process. Something unique about us at Franchise Empire, most folks that are in the franchise brokerage world overall, they don't even know how resales work. They don't show them to their clients. They never have the conversations, nor would they know how to help support them through the due diligence. Not to take shots at other people, just to point out how we're different and we provide that additional layer of support. So like anyone who's buying a resale, we strongly encourage that you do your proper due diligence. But to acquire a business that had last 12 months revenue of 7 figures for 200 grand, I mean, that's an attractive opportunity. I think personally, someone who has experience, uh, who's managed people before, possibly from a sales and marketing background, or if you're someone that you're like a GM, or a manager somewhere, and you're kind of like, man, I'm pretty much running what I'm doing now. I'd love to do it for myself. Something like this is just a really, I think, a really attractive opportunity.
For sure.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't know what, like, the seller may be willing to finance part of it or maybe not, but I mean, I look at this on the surface and I'm like, okay, if I was in the market in Miami for a home services resale, I would 100% look at this just to at least learn more about the opportunity. But yeah, I mean, I'm actually helping a client now in a entirely different state with a resale of CertaPro, and it's priced quite a bit higher, but I've just been impressed with the way CertaPro corporate takes people through the process to really educate them and make sure it's going to be a good fit. And then, we talked about the valuation, and I mean, it's overvalued, this particular situation. But we talked about what would make sense, and ultimately it's our client's call, but what would make sense to offer. And I think it's an opportunity where he could probably get a very, very profitable resale for a pretty good discount. So I say that just saying, like, every single situation is different. So I really, for resales and people who are exclusively looking for resales, I always recommend speaking with the franchisor early instead of like noodling on it and overthinking it too much, because you don't know until you get those specific details of the location. Like, it's very different process than buying a new franchise unit. So
Completely different.
yeah.
For those of you who are interested in, maybe if you're in Florida somewhere and you're interested in this resale, you go to franchiseempire.com/resales. You will be able to schedule a free 15-minute call with the team to just learn more and or get introduced to this specific opportunity. But if you're wherever you are in the country, we have access to franchise resales all across the country. Sometimes ones that are not publicly listed anywhere. And so if you want to have a conversation around what potential resales are available in your market, then you can have a conversation with the team. And it's just become an aspect of the business that we've gotten really good at helping people to find. And you guys actually, for any of you who do wind up working with us on a resale, you get a little bit of an upper hand because, number one, Kevin and his wife own a business brokerage franchise, and his wife is a business broker. So you're getting someone who's like literally talking about resales and deals and negotiations and due diligence literally probably every day, because I know you and Amanda are constantly talking about business stuff. So um
Yeah, we're nerds. That's what we talk about after dinner. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Yeah, it's a good point. I've learned so much just kind of monitoring her deals, but yeah, how you value stuff, the questions you should be asking, of the owner, what can happen, in between when they list it to when they're going to sell it, if that matters to the bank. I mean, there's just so many variables and it's very, very interesting, but it's complex at the same time. So make sure you contact us and we can help you. If you don't contact us, we can't help you. So,
This is true. Yeah. And don't go reaching out to someone else first, because then we might not be able to help you.
yeah.
Um, okay, cool. So, I had to include this. I think we've covered it before, but given we talked about a CertaPro resale, I figured this was perfect to cover. So, I know you had the very first contact with Liz when she came through and reached out to us a while back, probably like a year ago now. And then obviously you helped her and Dean through the process. So, do you want to share a little bit about kind of what was her issue coming to us initially, and kind of like in evaluating even working with us, and then what that led to for her?
Yeah. So they came to us with a really interesting background, specifically in franchising. So they had operated multiple units of a food franchise, and very different, like Liz and Dean. But Liz was very adamant, like she didn't want food anymore, and which I completely agree with for a number of reasons. So she had actually worked with two other brokers, franchise brokers, before coming to us, and didn't have the support or the experience that she was looking for. And we were able to, again, one of the things that's a differentiator is actually look into resales for her and new units, and she explored both, and they were just overall better opportunities. And so she ended up landing on a CertaPro resale, and it was a great opportunity. Two territory deal. One territory was being, I would say 60% optimized, and the other was not even being touched. So a lot of room to grow. An owner that was retiring was willing to do a nice handoff. So great situation. But yeah, I mean, not all the resales fall under that category, but it was a really good fit for her. So yeah, I felt good because she had worked with a couple other people and did not have a great experience, and rightfully was probably a little bit skeptical coming to work with us, but we ended up finding something that was obviously a good fit for her.
Yeah. Yeah. What's funny is I'm gonna do a podcast episode with her.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, and I think Dean's gonna join too. And we've had to reschedule like I think 2 or 3 times because they're just so busy in the business. She's like, I'm so sorry, but I have like 3 new jobs starting today. Which is it's the best That's the best problem to have as an entrepreneur, where you're like, I just have so much business that I'm so busy. And granted, she bought an existing franchise, but yeah, she's going to be joining us for a podcast episode. And that's actually one of my rocks this quarter, Kevin, is to connect and do 10 podcast episodes with our clients who have bought, because I think it'll be really interesting for everyone to just hear their journey and what it was like and what they bought and what the process and etc. So
Yeah, dude, I love that. I just I got a text on Friday from somebody I helped, Nick, a buddy of mine. And he said, "I hope you guys are well. Thought I would share. I just closed an account with 5 locations. I'm not going to say the city, in the city that brings our annual recurring revenue to 1.1 million." So I had found him a really good B2B franchise. He had B2B sales background, and he's absolutely
oh, I know
crushed.
which one. Is this the one I think it is?
Yeah, yeah. So he is. I'm super super happy for him. He hasn't even reached his year mark yet. So to have 1.1 million in recurring revenue, it's pretty damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love it. Cool. All right. So this brings us to the franchise of the week. And we were
Okay.
just talking about this earlier in our meeting. But yeah, tell us about this franchise.
Yeah. So Carista, who's our business partner, Tarek and I's business partner, she went to an event last week where she learned more about several franchises. This was one of them, Rainbow Restoration. So it's actually really good timing. But Rainbow Restoration is a restoration franchise that they do like water, fire, mold mitigation, stuff like that. They've been around for a long time. So they are owned by Neighborly. They were acquired by Neighborly in 2021. And Neighborly is, of course, a large umbrella company in home services that has 20 something different home improvement franchises underneath its umbrella. So Rainbow Restoration is their restoration business, 313 franchise units across the country.
Wow.
Investment range for this is between 170,000 and 325. The reason it's a little bit higher is because like you do need a warehouse, a small warehouse where you're going to like store equipment and vehicles and stuff. And then you start with one or two vehicles, a lot of equipment, a lot of the fans that you use for the restoration work. So it is a little bit more capital intensive than something like a CertaPro, but restoration businesses are a huge need. Obviously, if somebody has a fire or water damage in their home, you have to have it taken care of. So and that's what Rainbow Restoration does. A few things that separate them actually is, and this is something Krista learned about last week, is as a franchisee, you can do 100% of your business if you want through what they call their key accounts program. So they're so big in throughout the country. They have national partnerships with all the different insurance carriers where those carriers will refer business and clients to Rainbow Restoration franchisees. And I think there's like a 5% fee or something, to do those jobs. But basically it makes all your business referral based from these insurance carriers, which is really interesting. You can do that and combination of like your own marketing and your own referral network as well. But it's kind of a way to really like jumpstart your restoration business through those national key accounts. And then Neighborly has negotiated for Rainbow Restoration an SBA Express loan program that I think it's like very specific only to them, where you can do an SBA Express loan for 350,000. Usually it's only 150,000 for SBA Express, but they have some sort of, I don't know, special partnership with the SBA program where they can get an express loan for up to 350,000. So that's pretty cool. So those are two big differentiators. Another one is they do have what they call a flood house that is at their corporate headquarters, where it's literally a training facility where they'll flood a home and they'll put their new owners through training on how to like actually go through like the process. So that's kind of wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that cannot be cheap at all. But so that's pretty cool. So it's a big organization. It's pretty like well established, like we noted here. But if we want to scroll up to the numbers, because everybody always kind of wants to know about the numbers. I kind of went out of order. Sorry, Tarek. Let's see here. So this is, can you scroll up a little bit more so I can see the header?
Oh, yep.
There we go. So these are franchise businesses in operation 12 months or more. So 1 year plus in the business. So top 10% is on average doing 4.15 million. Top 25%, 2.66 million, still really strong. Top 50%, 1.78. And then you can see the bottom half drop off quite a bit. So you want to be above average is the moral of the story. But 100% of all units, they're around $1 million average gross sales. So I'll pause there. I feel like I'm talking a lot. Tarek, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're talking all good stuff. Yeah, I mean, the someone might go, what's the catch? Like, this sounds really attractive. They got a lot of good stuff. The catch is that they have 313 franchise units. Mm-hmm. And so, like, this is one of those brands where it's like your territory may not be available. Mm-hmm. Because there's over 300 units already and they're pretty established. But, I would say if this is one that you are interested in, definitely I'm changing up the banner there to the check territory one. Definitely reach out to us so we can check and see if it's available. But I mean, when you look at these numbers, I mean, just 12 months or more in business, like a business really takes, I always say it takes about 3 years to reach maturity, like the business reaching adulthood. So even just the benchmark of 12 months or more is not a lot. That's not a big benchmark, but And where you got, if you guys wonder where we got the 11 million from, you can see that the top performing franchisee does just over $11 million in sales, which is just wild to think about overall. But I mean, this shows some really gangbuster numbers. I mean, it just shows if there's that many people that are being successful in the business, that you definitely can. I would imagine that when it shows 133 out of the 267 are in the bottom 50%, I would guess and imagine that a good amount of those are ones that are not as mature in the business. Like they're probably maybe between that 1 to 3 year mark of getting open. And they could be kind of like legacy franchisees too, who they're just, here's the weird thing about franchising that the numbers don't show you. And this is certainly not the case in all of them. And this is what you need to validate. That's one of the things we help our clients do, is like the validation of the franchise. But when you're talking to other franchisees, like what you would want to understand is like, what is the difference between like these people, and are these people that are just like, oh, I'm just good with running a smaller business, and like I don't want to have a lot of people. I just want to have one or two techs, and I'm like doing fine, and or they're actually doing the work, or they're actually doing the sales. And then you have people that actually want to build an empire and build a business. Like I can guarantee you the person doing 11 million versus the one who's doing, 112,000, they think completely differently. Like it's not just a matter of like, okay, this one has a better territory. That could be the case too. But I guarantee you they think about their business and their strategy different than the other person. And
Yeah.
so if there's, one thing that you guys leave with today is like, just know that a lot of your business success, yeah, getting the right franchise matters, but you got race car drivers that they all have fast cars, and there's people that dominate, and there's people that win, right? What is that guy's name? Lewis Johnson or something like that? In like F1 that just like
Yeah.
crushes everyone.
I mean, I know nothing about race car driving, so you might have. I couldn't even tell you one race car driver, but yeah, keep going.
The only reason why I know his name is because I've had a handful of people over the last few years that are like, you look like that F1 driver.
That's funny.
And so I think that was before I grew the beard. So I had to look him up. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Anyways, the point is the operator matters. Yes, the franchise matters, but all things being equal, the operator matters.
Yeah.
So
People always use territory as an excuse. Their market is unique for XYZ, or there's only some. When I used to work for a home improvement franchise, we would have owners that were in very small markets in like northern Michigan that could only operate 6 months out of the year, and they were doing better than some of these people in like the southern markets that have way more population and could operate year round. And when I showed like all, it's a very competitive like system, when I showed those numbers and I said, well, there's no excuses here, like people would get all bent out of shape, but it's true. It's like, I mean, it's just about your operator mindset and how are you just going to get it done, and so I do think people really, really, really overanalyze the market. It's important to do that and do market research, but every time somebody says, well, my market's so unique, and because it's not so unique. Like there's tons of other markets like that around the country. And if you want to speak with others people in similar markets during validation, then you should do that. You should ask the franchisor, like, I want to speak with somebody in similar sized market. I want to speak with 2 people that are 1 year in, 2 people that are 5 years in, like you need to speak with a number of different types of people. So yeah, that's my end of rant.
yeah. Boom. All right. And then let's see, what was this? So this does it based off of territory size, which is interesting. Walk us through this.
Okay, so this would be territory size. So yeah, obviously the more population, that doesn't surprise me. The high performer at 11 million was in the higher territory size, but it looks like most people own one smaller territory. So 100 people own that. And the average for that one territory is 728,000. And then if you own 2 territories, it looks like it jumps. Well, it's actually the same. It's a little bit lower. But then I don't know if that's 3 territories or what, how you would describe that final line item there, but it seems like this is an opportunity where you would want multiple territories based on what I'm seeing here, because that's when it really makes a big leap in terms of average gross sales. That's how I
And
interpret it.
and is this one of those ones? Because I know that is Shelf Genie a neighborly company?
Yeah.
So maybe this is one of those deals where because they're not actually saying how many territories they own, but doesn't Neighborly have a thing where you can just buy like additional you can like just pay for additional population or like zip codes or something like that, where you're not like actually buying a new territory, but you can add on like per population or something like that?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean it's like they charge like 15 cents per person additional or something weird like that. So yeah, you can always, and that's something we help with, is if you for the most part like your territory, but you want like 2 more zip codes, like franchisors like Neighborly will allow you to acquire those 2 zip codes and add it into your single territory and just pay a little bit more. So that is true. It's not necessarily defining, you know, multiple territories here. So you'd have to look at how they define a territory in their FDD. But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. All right. So for those of you who want to check and see, number one, is this specific franchise still available in your territory? You can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. Or if you just want to know, like, hey, I'm curious, what franchises, period, are available in my area that align with my financial goals, that align with my lifestyle goals, that I could see myself in, then you can schedule a call with the team to be able to see, what's available and what's out there in your market overall. All right. Last but not least, the Franchise Empire Show, our latest episode, is we talk about how to go from employee to entrepreneur quickly and safely. And this can be applied to any business, not just franchises, by the way. So this is actually one of the more fun videos that I've done. We got some good feedback on it as well, because I actually did it as a live training, and we put it on the podcast. So go check out the Franchise Empire Show YouTube channel. There's a specific YouTube channel for the Franchise Empire Show. That's the only place we post the podcast, in addition to any audio platform like Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you enjoy your podcast. You can listen to it there as well. So that's all I got for you guys today. Anything else before we part?
Nope, nothing more.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Take care. Have a good one. Peace.
Bye.